And gentlemen, boys and girls, to game number 1 of tonight's PUBG EU Pro Scrims. We appear to have a little bit of an issue with the team logos not loading in, but that is fine. We will roll with it for game number 1, and I'll see if I can get that fixed in between games. Not a problem at all. Thankfully, the teams all have their relative markers inside their names as well, which is quite useful. And for those of you who are looking at ES Test PLH02, that is FaZe who's going to be playing as part of Allen Oil. So even without the logos, guys, it won't look quite as snazzy as it normally will. But we will get that fixed for game number 2, and you guys will know exactly what's going on as well. Do not worry. Right. So, we've had an 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock playing path to start us off on tonight's PUBG EU Pro Scrims. It doesn't look like anyone's particularly contesting. We've got Win or Die. We've got PCIFIC Esports in and around San Martin and Hacienda. That should be fine. Los Leones is split between 2 teams. The Wu and Solo are there. And then we've got a couple of players who are basically the coaches who are there as a 5th player to spectate their own team throughout these matches. That is completely and utterly normal. Do not worry about it at all. And they basically end up removing themselves from the game really, really early on so that they can spectate their team and give them a little bit of advice, maybe some post-mortem analysis on what could be done better next time. First circle in game number 1 has popped. It is over Monte Nuevo. Loads of teams will have played so many games sort of ending around these kind of cliff areas, whether you're on the high ground, on the low ground, towards La Drilera. Lots and lots of ways to play this that are very, very well established. Sometimes the circles also go up towards this road, and then you get these compounds here, which get crashed an awful lot. There are a couple of Batulans rocks sort of dotted around as well, where you can expect to see him peering over at the rest of the lobby like an eagle from up high. Again, all very, very normal stuff here. I'm looking for the possibility of teams that are rotating early or someone that's going to be moving into somebody else. We appear to have Vard. Yes, Vard is going to be playing for UgaBuga, and he is on the southern end of the map with the rest of the team in Puerto Paraiso. UgaBuga is the coach for the Wu, so he's going to be removing himself from the game. Vard is not going to be encountering him, so that will not affect the gameplay at all. Welcome, Rigger, for the resub, and thank you very much. 13 months coming up there in the resub. Massively appreciate you, and really good to have you here in the Pro Scrims as well as in the custom games. You're everywhere, mate. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Checking out Win or Die, as it looks like they get ready to rotate relatively early from San Martin. Just over the 3-minute mark now. It's about 45 seconds to a minute before we can reasonably expect most teams to be hopping into vehicles, at least the ones that want to move out early. The Wu, you can see, are also starting to make their way out of Los Leones. Team Solo looking like they're going to chill out just that little bit more. We've also got a couple of teams we haven't cast before in the Pro Scrims. This is Team Primal. Jogues, NaVi, Sumo Jabs, and Dunlopper teaming up to compete. Looking forward to seeing what they bring to 2023 PUBG Esports. By the 4-minute mark, they are, well, trying to dodge Monte Nuevo a little bit, but it looks like Sumo Jabs has got a nice initial compound with a good amount of oversight across the surrounding areas without being massively pushable. I suppose if you get a huge team push sort of here around this rock, you can sort of peek over this ridge. It might look fairly safe to push up from, but the problem is, from this, you have people sniping you from all around here. And in a lobby this stacked, you just get people with DMR shooting you all day long. So it's not actually that pushable. It's more pushable in a lobby with scrubs like me in it, for example. FaZe Clan. Couple of mysterious names popping in here. Tactical no comment as to who these may be. Gustav and Fex, of course, you will recognize. 762 and Dragon Pump in here as well. We will call them what they are named in game. We will leave the speculation to other casters. 30 seconds until phase 1 moves in. UgaBuga going to be taking a while to rotate in. We've got some guests over from North America as well. Here we can see Soniqs moving out from north of Los Leones. Twin Shrimsy, Tiggleton, and Mime are indeed in the EU Pro Scrims lobby. This is not a mistake. Looking forward to seeing what impact they can have here. Right now, though, I have to say, everyone's being relatively well-intentioned. Stardust is just north of Monte Nuevo. It looks like 762 from FaZe has spotted someone inside Monte. Chucks a couple of shots their way and continues to move out. That's fine. MTB Esports is actually quite close to here if they're not careful. 762 is going to do the mountain goat approach by the looks of things. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. It's all right. We'll get there. Let's try again. Does this work? Oh. See, guys, this is not as easy as it looks. Absolutely not as easy as it looks. So he's going to be able to take a peek at MTB on the other side of this. Nail Cop and Eski. Eski will be hearing this going, oh, God, he's busy getting in position. We might have to move. That's fine. NaVi and Twisted Minds. Trading a couple of shots, but nothing with ill intent, at least not yet. Allen Oil still have Monte Nuevo. Win or Die have the east end of it by the looks of things. And then you've got Stardust just to their north. So we'll keep an eye. Reasonably similar teams. Doffy gets taken down there by a member of Stardust, but they are not about to push in. PCIFIC Esports, on the other hand, coming in from the north side could be interesting because this compound coming up, if they simply take that compound, that's fine. They go any further than this, and we could be in a little bit of trouble. They are quite late coming in, so they should know that most compounds will be taken. They're taking a look at the concretes. They will confirm eventually that this is safe for them to take. Not sure I would move too far beyond that, though. Not sure indeed. Who else is yet to come in? Beamy, Vard, T-Bone, Diggory. That is a dangerous sounding team, isn't it? Coming up towards Valle del Mar. That's rough. Toxic players in front of them, so they should have enough space. NaVi now coming in. PCIFIC Esports have taken the compound we were talking about before. And Stardust have decided that they want to make sure that they don't come any closer. I don't think they will, if I'm honest, but Stardust want to, ensure that. And I think they might be overreaching just a bit because Allen Oil have decided, you know what? We see a shot, we take it. This is what I mean about having positions that look like they might be good, but if you're open to far enough away shots, every man, woman, and child with a DMR is taking shots against you there. The Roo coming up towards where FaZe Clan are. These are on the highlands, just south of Center Circle. Biestoloch there, spotting Dragon Pump and losing a couple of shots, but multiple teammates are going to tag him, forcing him back just a little bit. The Woo are therefore going to be stuck in this position for a little while. Austrian Force also not overextending into question mark. They have got a little bit of higher ground. Let's take a look at what they can see from here, shall we? So this is relatively okay. And then they come up here and... all right, question mark are actually going for the higher ground. The doozy wanting to see if he can mountain goat something. If he can, actually. That would be disgusting. I can see this being rather disgusting indeed, but I feel like that's about as far as he's going to go. Misa has been spotted. Atex on the SLR. Initial shots hitting the car, but not the driver inside, at least not for now. Fairly quiet at the moment. Buga have gone beyond Valle del Mar and have chosen to go up the west side, which puts them in direct competition with question mark a little bit later on. Question mark have consolidated. You can see Dante there, who was in danger of getting spotted out by Vard, has gone to join Hoba and Faultlessly. Win or Die making a break. Halamybad and Leosh into Monte Nuevo to join the rest of their team. Maybe feeling the pressure a little bit, wondering if they were going to get crashed. Feeling like it's better to be a full team of 4 here. I don't 100% know what's caused the early push in, but I honestly don't think it can be a bad thing at the end of the day. Full squad strength of 4 looks great, unless it turns out the circle goes so far north that that would have been it. At the moment, it does not look like it. An almost perfect donut for phase number 2. Here comes FaZe Clan. I thought the Wu were going to back off, if I'm being perfectly honest. Doesn't look like that's happened. We've got Ibby and Nixie pushing up against Gustav. Quizzy has been knocked downstairs, so they need to get this trade. Oh my god, they don't get the trade at all. That is the Wu completely knocked out of the game. FaZe Clan, Gustav on 1 HP, but that's basically the only damage that they did. Wow, very clean. Quadruple kill there for FaZe Clan, and the Wu completely taken out. Those initial shots from Dragon Pump to keep the Wu on the low ground really made a huge difference there. And it meant when the Wu pushed in, there was no element of surprise. FaZe Clan were able to set up the way they wanted to. I didn't think the fight, though, would go quite that well for FaZe Clan. I have to say, that's like close to the best case scenario for FaZe Clan. They're really, really well played and well held as well by Gustav. AfterAlt and Austrian Force now getting into a major disagreement. And the problem is, these vehicles where AfterAlt have parked them are also suffering from just a little bit of bullet damage. Again, every man, woman, and child with a DMR looks for objects to shoot, and AfterAlt have provided them with some targets. So they're moving out, giving Austrian Force the space that I feel like they've consolidated there. That's fine. No real complaints about that. NaVi and Alan Oil in the meantime inside Monte Nuevo, having a little bit of a tussle in and around the bowl, the arena here. Melman and Example combining to knock Duffy. And at this point, I think they're asking, is there actually anyone here, or was that an isolated incident? Melman's about to find out. Duffy manages to crawl far enough away that they don't get an instant finish on that. NEQ actually getting the last second revive up onto Duffy. Is that a grenade? It is a grenade. Is it going to hit? It does. NEQ gets Melman in response, though. And I suspect that's going to be an insta-flush. Where's the rest of NaVi? Example, a little bit too far away to assist. And in fact, he is the last member left alive for NaVi here in game number 1. Uba and Alia falling in separate engagements. Alan Oil now holding on to this position. That grenade's actually not a bad one at all. NEQ could easily have been on the receiving end of that, but it ends up doing no damage. And backfilling NaVi towards the road here in Monte Nuevo are win or die. They're a little bit split in the sense that they've got 2 north of the road and 2 south. But they very much have this position on lockdown, at least for now. Unless you have like a team of 4 all crashing into this concrete or something. Win or die have got a fairly solid position. Let's take a look at zone number 3. The crossroads are still just about in here, but we're now taking a look at what's going to happen in and around La Julera and the surrounding area. Team Solo will be very happy with their performance there. Primal as well. Remember, they took that higher ground position early on in the game. They're going to be pleased with that. Early mover here on the low ground is FaZe Clan. Looking at T-Bone. T-Bone deciding not to contest. This church compound has been taken by FaZe now, so T-Bone will probably have to go and hunt for something else. They're coming down off the cliffs and back around this way. I think T-Bone, though, has got the... How do I put it? Of all the compounds left on the southern tip, I feel like this one might be a good idea, because even though it's on the low ground, rotating off of the... Actually, I'm going to take that back. Provided you can protect the vehicle tires, I actually prefer being in this hot dog building. Maybe using this garage as well. So perhaps T-Bone would end up coming up here, and he's using that position as a forward scout. So that's completely fine. I'm going to take that back. A doozy still playing Mountain Goat, which is fine, but like... What on earth is going on here? Misa has no idea that a doozy's here. Nails a couple of shots with the SLR. Needs one more. Gets one more. That's Misa knocked. A doozy finding a little bit of purchase from here. I suppose Zocker now has a rather interesting off angle if a doozy chooses to rush on down on the bike. He has to soon. No real choice. STARDUST on AfterAlt. STARDUST on AfterAlt. In between Twisted Minds and Win or Die. Two teams moving in. You can see the car in front is smoking. AfterAlt not having the best time. STARDUST struggling a little bit as well. They've actually decided to stay in the dunes. Apocalypse going backwards. I have questions. And he's not actually too far away from Lou. Oh my god. Can you imagine if that was a frag grenade and just hit Lou square in the chest? That would have been disgusting. STARDUST in a little bit of a precarious position. Not quite as precarious as Ayinen and Danimon, to be fair. All I want to do is get into a shack, and even that's proving quite difficult for AfterAlt right now. Danimon is at least inside and should be resable. Oh dear! Leaving the door open. It's important to have adequate ventilation. And here comes the very, very messy, right on the edge of the circle fight between Question Mark and Austrian Force. They've left it relatively late. Silas is right there. He's right there. Hoba in the compound, faultlessly getting out just beside him. Good couple of hits from Silas. Unfortunately, it's traded as Hoba knows exactly where he is as well. Faultlessly coming in with the follow-up grenade. That's a little bit of a push with the Molotov, but it doesn't matter. Aduzi manages to get him. Where is Aduzi now? Aduzi's still out here. And Vashku is still basically stalking him. This is 3 damage a second, ladies and gentlemen, outside of circle. And Vashku, the last member left alive of Austrian Force, really trying to pile the hurt in on Question Mark. Not very successfully so far, I have to say. Hoba gets Silas. And that's Vashku bleeding out to the blue. Question Mark then, able to continue in this game. Only Dante left. Oh my god, this is going to be close for Aduzi. Real close. Real close. I think he's going to make it, but only just. Do a barrel roll! Oh, goodness. Thank goodness you can bandage while in vehicles now. If it wasn't for that, he'd be toast. And Aduzi somehow... If Toxic Players gets the knock now... Oh, there we go. Okay. Next zone is very much on La Trilera and actually on the high ground that Primal are at as well. This puts an awful lot of pressure on these teams up north. Twisted Minds are going to be holding out Win or Die. And I don't think Win or Die have an easy route around Twisted Minds. I mean, if they could either come in through Stardust and Allen Oil, I suppose. But it's basically go in via one team versus go in via two, which is not a great decision to have to make. Extends coming in to try and finish this off. If Lou had stayed there, he would absolutely be knocked right now. Extends going out into the blue, hunting for the first knock. Does Batulan see him? No, not just yet. Lou's on the left. Lou's right there. Oh dear, oh dear. Spyro also there. Batulan's goes down. Stardust lurking in the background. The rest of Win or Die pushing in. I feel like Twisted Minds have gone really out of their way outside of circle to go for these flanks, and it's clearly not paid off for them. Perfectic's the only member of Twisted Minds technically inside circle right now, and he's gone down as well. Very limited ability for Spyro to do much about this. He's taking 3 damage per second. That's him out. Leosh will finish him off. This is the really high risk, high reward with these fights inside the blue zone. Not sure how much I like it. Earlier rotations, though, have their own level of difficulty and their own set of challenges that the teams have to overcome. So deciding to do something else is one thing. Actually getting it sorted is quite another. UgaBuga taken out by FaZe Clan. That's their second squad wipe, I believe, of the game. It is indeed 8 kills. And provided they can get Dragon Pump up, which they do, FaZe Clan are going to have all 4 members left alive. Very strong performance from FaZe Clan here in game number 1 so far. No matter what happens, they will have 8 points in the bag from those kills. And having everyone alive is just super handy. Let's take a look on the right-hand side. Entropic, Nailup, QB, Lucarux, and Evas are looking to welcome 2023 with a bang from a PUBG Esports point of view. I think that's the last member of PCIFIC Esports, Bluffist. Oh, hello. Who properly just got taken out of the game. That's MTB finishing him off. Apocalypse will be able to get revived as a result. Danimon in the shack, not really going to do much if I'm perfectly honest. Primal still has the best position, although Soniqs is doing a great job of just casually sneaking up and getting a nearly as good position. I feel like Mime's job here is to try and make sure Entropic can't see him in the valley, and if he can't, then Soniqs are in a position to sort of come in and third party anyone who decides to try and take on Primal. Oh, this looks like it could be big. MTB Esports moving in against Allen Oil. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And NEQ is certainly getting a healthy dose of both right now. Sword off to start things off, which is completely fair enough. MTB still very much on the outside, as you can see here. And NEQ so close. Didn't get the sawn-off shots in time, unfortunately. Feynotto coming in against Eski. Doesn't get the knock. CTR coming in after them. This is how much smoke there is, guys. They run straight past Feynotto upstairs. And these guys have no idea he's right there. Soniqs also in a fight against Entropic right now. We're going to stay with this for now. Feynotto knows there's someone right outside. Loosing another smoke. Stardust coming in too. FaZe Clan losing Dragon Pump and 762. Way too much damage for them to be doing this, unfortunately. Gustav going down to 1 HP. Having to use it immediately now the first aid. And look at this. That is at 8 damage per second. With Team Solo on one side. Primal on the other. And Solo actually doing a fantastic job against Team Primal. That's FaZe Clan eliminated. Solo probably had no idea that FaZe Clan were busy dying in the blue right next to them. They more or less had to be constantly on first aids. Sumo Jabs got picked up, and NaVi is also going down for a knock. He should be able to get revived. It feels like Sumo Jabs got picked off outside in the compound in a place where it was essentially impossible to get any sort of revive up. Entropic win the fight against Soniqs. So in their first game, Soniqs will be able to finish in the top 6, to be fair. MTB Esports now are fighting against Stardust, who have all 4 players left alive on the north side of the circle. This is just north of La Trilera. We've got all 4 members of Team Solo still up as well, playing this very, very strategically. They're only on the 1 kill so far, but they've stayed out of trouble and they've got really good utility left. And I feel that's going to count for quite a lot if they're able to get into a final 3 and get into close quarters, for example. Entropic now coming in to try and finish off the rest of Primal. I feel like they had the prime position for so much of this game. Lucarux here might be able to turn a screw, but he is a one-man band a little bit. QB and Evas are so far back that Lucarux is essentially representing an army on his own. Smokes out. Nobody on the other side, by the way, so there's no third party involved here. Team Solo are just quietly going into the middle of the circle rather than pushing into any other team. That's how they are dealing with this phase 6. Meanwhile, Lucarux has bought enough time for the rest of Entropic to push up with him. It looks like Evas, unfortunately, won't end up making it, but QB is next door. And they're going to rotate around rather than push up towards Primal. That's a lot of damage to be taking to save this vehicle, but Celtic goes ahead and does it. Oh, no. You have no vest. You have no helmet. The vehicle has 3 wheels. Was that really worth it? Doesn't matter. He's in. He is in. Righty-ho. Primal and Entropic. 5 o'clock position. Solo quietly moving towards the center, hoping that everyone has to go into them. Stardust possibly the most active position on the north side of the map. They should be able to come down this way, or they could move towards MTB. I don't think they want to. I don't think it's the best, but they could. The point is Stardust have options from here. Next circle, favorable for Stardust. Slightly northern skew. Celtic, it does look like he's moving towards MTB to an extent. He's got a little bit of a ridge. Not a big one, but enough for him to move to loot some death boxes to take a look at what's going on at this rock, which is fair enough. Let's take a look at what their alternative is as well. They can go up the hill this way. And Primal aren't going to peek all the way over the edge here because they're busy dealing with Entropic. So they could actually come up this way in third party. But Stardust don't have the information that says that's safe. So if they don't, that looks really risky on paper, right? But in theory, they could do that. So we'll keep an eye on what they end up doing. 26 minutes into this game. We're into the top 5 teams. And 16 players are left alive. Primal ascending. Oh, ascending to the edge. I tried to hype that up, guys. And then they were just like, nah. Y'all chill. Fine, fine, fine. What's going on here? Escree getting taken down by Bombilovo. Nail caught with a good trade. Back into the smoke, but it doesn't matter because a vehicle comes in. Savari and Soset now pushing in. Team Solo really going after this hammer and tongs. They successfully eliminate MTB. Soset will be able to get Sayari and will be able to get Bombilovo. Priel coming in to help out there, which means that Primal can't quite take advantage of this. They're going to try. Oh my god, he's really going to try. NaVi wants a little bit of this action, wants those points in the bag. Not necessarily sure he's going to get them. Team Solo with all 4 left alive. Stardust as well, a quad. Primal a 3. And Entropic a 2. These are your final 4 teams in game number 1 here of tonight's PUBG EU Pro Scrims on Miramar. Good initial grenade, but does NaVi know there's someone significantly closer? Priel is waiting in the wings. You must realize this. Underarm grenade going over the hill. Priel secures a point. Dunlopper now stranded by the Vengabus. It's not coming, and I can assure you everybody isn't jumping there. Dunlopper seriously stuck, and unfortunately Primal positioning themselves out of this fight. They go down, and Entropic now properly under fire, but it's quite long range against Stardust here. Not exactly march up to them, spray both, get out. Stardust are keeping a very disciplined line on the north side of the map. It's good, but on the other hand, I get slightly worried because I don't know at what point that really nice line becomes a, if one of you gets knocked, we can't actually cover for you. Fresh level 3 gear and an AWM when you only have 4 enemies left in the game, though, is going to be delightful for MetaBay. As Stardust will very happily take that. The right side flank there. Not doing Solo any favors. And Priel, unfortunately, looking at the wrong half of Stardust. Doxers and MetaBay. Very much on the east side flank. You can also get the insta-revive if he wants. MetaBay just drinking an energy drink, chilling at the moment. I think he can afford to go for the insta-revive. He does, actually. Fine. Both sides with 1 down, but it looks like they will get them back up. 20 seconds left in phase 8. This is a 4v4 fight. It's 1 squad v 1 squad, and MetaBay with the AWM shows us what it's all about. Doesn't matter what you're wearing. Bombilova goes down like a sack of potatoes thanks to the headshot. Solo a 2-2, very split, but quite effective at maintaining crossfire into the middle. Leads them to a knock onto Apocalypse. Oh! Body hit followed by headshot on the barrel means that MTB is going to get Priel down. Advantage STARDUST now. 4v3 is Sosa going to be able to get the revive quite quickly. He is going for the insta-revive. No, he's backed off. There's no way he can hear steps there. I feel like Dogs has gone down. MTB from Bombilovo. Definitely the MVP of this fight so far. This is now a 3v2. Team Solo are pushing back. STARDUST had the position. Solo are the ones now flanking. Really good 3x spray. And Sayari as well as Bombilovo are going to take it. 11 kills for this chicken dinner. Very, very well played from them. That is Team Solo in first place, STARDUST in second, and Entropic coming in third.